The atrocity continues. Appalling. 2022 could not have started worse. It's just... I was speaking to my dad and he said Roma played well for 20 minutes. I disagree. Roma played bad for the entire match. You know, it's just pointless. I mean, our Champions League hopes have faded. AC Milan looks like they're gone through. Inter Milan are unstoppable. It's just, we're not a team. If we want to compete in these big tournaments, we have to win big matches. And the only big match Roma won is the match against Atalanta. You need to give a sense of continuity to your rhythm. You know, the draw against Sampdoria, the loss against Milan. What do we expect against Juventus? Another defeat. Because, you know, it's just... I don't get it. I mean, what?
It's just, there's not much you can say to something like that. You see something like that and you just... There's a certain extent of words that can come out of your mouth. And you just, after seeing a performance like that, where you feel like you're watching a team that should be in Serie C, it's just ridiculous. And you come off a win, right? You come off a win that is so important, like we said. Atalanta, you come off a win like that, and then you lose to Milan in that way. Like, it's not even that we lost to Milan. That's not the one thing that pisses me off. That's not the thing that's annoying me. It's the way that we lost. It's the way that we were losing 3-1 and still managed to get 2 red cards at the end because we got pissed. That's what annoys me.
Frustration. We got the red cards because of frustration. And I continue to emphasize a very important thing. When Roma play a match, you see if they win in the first 20 minutes. If their approach to the match is great, they press well, they defend well, then they win the match. You can tell, and this is, you know, it's a sort of hint to any, you know, people who bet out there. Bet on Roma, wait 20 minutes until the match starts, and then bet. Because you can see how the output of the match will be by the first 20 minutes. If the approach is bad, we lose. And in fact, we won against Atalanta. One reason, the approach was great. I have one thing to say. I am fed up. It's painful to watch. But in a way, I'm used to it. You know, the pain, you know, if Roma was to lose against AC Milan a few years ago, when we had Mo Salah and everyone, I would be even more gutted. Because I know that team didn't deserve and was not going to lose. You know, were the favourites for this match. Roma now, these big matches, they can't win. They can't win big matches. So I expect this. So I am gutted because I want my team to win. I am gutted because after that Atalanta win, it gave me a massive Champions League boost. But the reality is that it's the way it is. You know, we expect it. And coming towards the match against Juventus, I'm going to throw it out there. If we play like this, we're going to lose.
Exactly.
Again, Juventus are playing tonight. They've got Paulo Dybala and Federico Chiesa back. Who do you put on Chiesa? We don't even have Korsdorp. We don't have Mancini. We're going to lose that match. It's the continuity that this club lacks. Because a massive win against Atalanta, a club that many big clubs barely ever won against, you win, you play the most amazing match of the season, then you draw against Sampdoria and you lose against Milan. There is no continuity in this team, and that's the main problem.
I completely agree. I think it's got to the point where you just get tired. You get tired of watching these matches because you show up to the matches and normally you're like, oh, you think we can win this? You think we win this? But we're going into a match going, oh, we're probably going to lose this. Like, it's the question in your mind changes. The question of the expectation of a team, the excitingness of being able to go into a match, not knowing what's going to happen, wanting your team to win, expecting maybe a little bit of hope for your team to win. But when you watch these matches like this, there is no hope left. And I think Simon can agree with me. I don't come into these watches expecting us to ever win. And when you lose big matches like this, when you lose against the big teams, what that does to your brain, what that does to your mentality, it just ruins it completely. Therefore, you go into the smaller matches and you lose them as well. Because we're not just losing against big teams. We're losing against smaller teams as well. We're losing against teams that we should absolutely demolish. And it's just not on. It's not a thing that we can continue doing because it's just a letdown to supporters who pay tickets, who spend 90 minutes, more than 90 minutes, who spend that amount of time out of their days, out of their lives to watch these players play, and then they fucking do that. They do this week in and week out. Every time we go into a match, we think we're going to lose. And that is not on, and it makes us lose the passion we have for this club. And it's ridiculous, because Roma has probably the biggest passion, the fans have the biggest passion for this club that I've ever seen in any other club. And it is fucking not on.
No, another thing I want to say is just something which we always say, and I really hope that it's a message to the, obviously they're not going to watch this, but Thiago Pinto, Fredkins, do something when it comes to improving the squad depth, because our squad depth is possibly the worst in the entire Serie A. I have nothing against, our substitutions. I have nothing against our reserve players, but the reality is they're not good enough. So, we need to improve the squad depth. And now my big question is, do we really only need a midfielder and a defender to buy in this window transfer market? Because if Abraham got subbed off, I understand that, we had a red card, and obviously Shomurodov and Felix, stepped inside the match on a negative note, because the match was, the team was focusing on the defense because we already got a red card. But even if that red card doesn't exist, Shomurodov would have probably touched 0 balls. He has no experience. And Felix, we can't depend on a 17-year-old guy. If Tammy is out, we can't depend on Felix to get this team on his shoulders and carry it to win big matches. It's just impossible to do. So what we really need to focus about in this transfer market is, do we really only need a defensive midfielder and a defender to improve our squad depth? Because in the attacking side, you get Abraham out, which today didn't play even that well. You get him out, and you can't expect to win a match by putting a 17-year-old in. It's just the law of football. He has no experience. I have nothing against Felix. I think he'll be a massive, massive, massive future. But I can't depend on an academy player to win big matches, is what I'm trying to say.
I completely agree with you, and it's never worked in the past, and it will never work. You can't put a kid who's my age, 70, he's my age. You can't put a kid on and expect him under all of that pressure. Everyone's looking at you to score. Everyone's looking at you to get the finishing goal in, to maybe save your team from the whole getting points. We're in a big position here, right? We're in a big competition for Champions League spots, and we are saying, here you go, 17-year-old boy who just got out of school. Here you go. Let's put all of that weight on your shoulders. It will never work. It has never worked, and it won't work now. And what Simon was saying about the squad depth is completely right. And you see it mostly, not with defenders, you see it mostly in our attacking half. You see it mostly, like today, when we took off Tammy. There's no way we can bring on substitutions in attack and expect them to get like that. Our substitutions in attack, we can't expect them to get through any defence, let alone the Milan defence, which is a decent defence. Today, we watched it. We were saying before the match, the Milan defence was weak. It is weak today. It is. They don't have some of their key defenders. Their fucking captain, they don't have, right? And we struggled once we took our main striker off. We couldn't get through that defence. If we can't get through that defence, what's to say that we can't get through the defence of Juventus? Juventus, who have all of their defenders ready, not injured, they have all of them, right? How are we supposed to do that? And with other teams as well, lower teams, they have better defenders. And when we take Tammy off, we can't do anything. And Tammy's not old, Tammy's young as well, and he hasn't been at the club that long. So we are putting, once again, all the pressure on a young guy who also hasn't been at the club is still long and is still trying to fit into the club. He's got that pressure on him, moving to a different country, he's got the pressure of everything on him, and now Roma have gone, here you go lad, here's the pressure of winning a fucking game every week. No one else can help you, only you. Boom. It's not going to work, and it needs to change. And like Simon said, we can't go in and look for defenders. And I'm going to say this now. Right, we've got pretty good defenders. We've looked for some and we found some. We need to focus on having squad depth everywhere. I'd say we'll be alright in defence, alright? We will be alright in defence with our squad depth. It's not great, but it's not terrible, okay? Our attacking force is where it struggles. Who the fuck do we bring on when we take off our starting 11 in attack? Who do we bring on that can make the change and not weaken the team? It just doesn't make sense.
No, also, I agree with Mescobar. The thing that cost us the match today was the mistake. 98% of the way, we gave them 3 goals. The first one, it was a penalty. I don't know. I want to see it again. The second one, Ibanez just randomly decides to give Giroud the ball. What was the third goal again? Oh, Leao. Who's marking Leao? You're 10 men down and you leave Leao, who's the fastest player on the player.
Best player on the pitch.
Best player on the pitch alone. Obviously, he'll score. Mourinho has probably told the players many times, do you want to achieve the objectives? Do you want to achieve the objectives we have? Do you want to achieve the objectives? And obviously the players obviously went, yes, we want to try and get in a Champions League. We want to try and win the Europa Conference League. Well, yes, you want to do that, but you're not giving us the impression to do that because you can't give AC Milan 3 goals. Plus the 2 red cards. The 2 red cards basically mean that you have started. Basically, the match against Juventus has started today because you don't have Mancini, you don't have Karsdorp. That means that you will need to start Kumbula in defense with Chiesa, who's extremely fast, and Kumbula, remember that Bodo Glimt goal, was slower than an elephant carrying a fridge on his back. And second, we need to play either Reynolds, who has no experience whatsoever, or Maitland-Niles, who literally just stepped inside the team, inside the new team, and on Sunday is already going to get a call-up, because without Karsdorp, get him on right now.
And it's not just a small call-up as well. It's the whole thing of putting pressure on the wrong people as well. When you put pressure in a team, you normally put pressure on all of the players. I get the exceptions of the greatest players in the world putting pressure on Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, all of those people, Lewandowski, to score the goals. Putting those pressure, I get it because they've had to deal with it for a long time. But you bring in a new player, Maitland-Niles is a young guy, right? He's a young guy. He joins the club the day before, signs a contract, gets to his medical, goes to the one training, and then gets told, oh look, you have to step in for us, you have to be the big guy here, you have to start for us, start against Juventus, and tell him that this is one of the biggest matches of the season. It's not on, and it won't fucking work. It just won't. It won't, and I agree with Simon, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, and I'll let Simon continue, but the last thing I'm going to say is our biggest fault here, and the biggest thing that I saw that I was disgraced by, I was disgusted by, is our attitude when, not just our attitude in general, our attitude is shit, but when we start losing, we don't put our heads down.
Yeah, that's very important.
We don't do what we're supposed to do. We don't put our heads down, but we get angry. And I understand getting angry can help sometimes. But when your anger clouds everything and it's just anger and you're just irritated and frustrated, you see what happened today. 2 red cards which should not have happened. 2 red cards which all of us can agree here were absolutely stupid and should not have happened. Not the ref, not anyone else. It was a clear red card, but we should not have been in the position to do that. Those players know better. It is their job. We always forget this, right? Footballers, it is their job to do what they have been paid to do. And then they get frustrated and do shit like that, which puts a worst thing on the team. Leao's goal was because of one of those red cards, because we lost 2 players. That is not, we're in 10 men, right? 10 men at one point, that's when Leao scored. That is shit, right? We can't be getting frustrated when we're in 10 men. When you're in 10 men, you have to keep a calm mind, you have to be ready for anything, and be observant. That is the biggest thing. But when you are angry and frustrated like that, nothing good will come from it, and nothing did. There you go.
Now, the last thing I want to say is, someone said, because Mourinho saw weakness in Milan defense, he went offensive, not thinking it will cost us first mistake in the first 5 minutes. And this is why Yes, I'd say 30% of the fault is Mourinho's. Because obviously, he trains the players. But 70% of the fault is the players themselves. How the hell did we score just one goal with Kalulu and Gabia in defense? We have some questions. We're not gonna add anything onto it because we're both gutted. We expected something to happen today. I'm gonna be honest. I expected at least a draw, especially after the Atalanta win, which got me boosted. I expected something. I didn't get this. I am gutted. Now, this was basically goodbye Champions League. And in fact, the match against Juventus on Sunday is our potential last ticket. Because if, we are currently, 3 points from Juventus, we're 1 point down Fiorentina, who have one match to play at home against Udinese. We're in a mess. We're in an absolute mess. And we gotta, I'm going to say out loud, our objective this season is to get fifth in the Serie A, yes, but the primary objective is the Europa Conference League. Let's conclude on this note. What's your objective throughout this season?
I hate to say it because I generally don't understand the Conference League and I hate it, but when we are not reaching our goals in the Serie A, the fans look for other things. The fans look for what we all look for as fans is glory. What we all look for is trophies, wins, victories. That's what we look for. We don't choose our team for that, but that's what we look for. And when we're not getting it in our leagues, you look for competitions. And even if those competitions are such shite and bullshit ones, which I think, we still need the victories, we still need the trophies. So my objective for this season is Europa League and the Serie A, obviously, but because I would like the Champions League and I think we could do it if we man up, but I don't think there's actually a mathematically way we can do it.
Champions League is hard.
I think it's hard. I think if we don't man up by Juventus game, then we are fucked. If we don't win the Juventus game, then it is completely over. I think now it's more over than it is.
It's like 80% done.
Yeah, but if we lose to Juventus, we're done. So 5th place in the Serie A. And we have to. Roma have a rich history and we're a big club, alright? We are. We have to win the conference. We have to. It's not even a thing of like, we should or be nice to. We have to win it. We have to.
Yeah, we got it. We lost some very ridiculous matches throughout this season. Milan, matches against small clubs in the Serie A, the 6-1 against Bodo Glimt. But, the passion is the same. We'll forever be Roma fans. We'll forever support this team. Right now, we're in a mess. We need to rebuild the team. Give Mourinho time. Hopefully with Oliveira and Maitland-Niles something can happen. And we hope for the best.
I just quickly want to give... They'll never see this, obviously, but I want to give out a shout-out to the 2 players that actually played today, and that is Smalling and Rui Patricio, who are the 2 players that actually played, didn't make many mistakes. I don't think... Rui didn't make one mistake, and I don't think Smalling made a mistake. Maybe on the Leao goal it was his fault, but I did not see it. And those 2 players are the only players that I saw playing today, and it is impossible to sit here and say that only 2 players were playing. That doesn't make sense.
But, the passion is the same.
We still
Die Roma forever. And we got a big match on Sunday, which... Hopefully we expect a reaction, which is the most important thing. A reaction from this match, telling the fans that they actually deserve to wear that shirt. So we'll catch you. I'll catch you tomorrow for the preview for Juventus. And see you lads.
Peace out.